Have you ever noticed how difficult it is to communicate with people these days, and often to even listen to ourselves, thinking about our own life and ourselves? In this video, we're going to show you how to feel better about your communications with other people and with yourself.
Exactly.
I'm Joe Siegel.
And I'm Leonard Siegel.
And we're the authors of Success Formula. And we hope that you pick up this book. There's a link in the show notes. And subscribe and share this video. Tell your friends. Click like.
So they can communicate better together with themselves, have a happier life and a happier world.
And share more loving kindness and positivity in the world, because we certainly need it now more than ever. Wouldn't you agree?
Right, and that's why we are reading short parts of this and discussing it with you. You can get the whole book, look at the show notes, and converse with us in the notes down. What is it called?
The comment section.
There you go, the comment section down below. Become part of the community, share it like this. And so, Joe, you go ahead and start reading.
So, getting back to communications and feeling good about our communications with each other, online, in line, and in our mind with ourselves, right?
We're continuing in Chapter 6, right?
Okay, Chapter 6 of the Success Formula.
This is the second part in Chapter 6. Go ahead.
Often before speaking or responding to others, a wise person will pause and ask themselves the question, is this kind? Is this necessary? And does it improve upon the silence? We suggest, therefore, that you consider the value and the wisdom of pausing when you are having internal conversations in your own mind. When you hear yourself being judgmental and negative.
Okay, can you move the text up? Okay. Taking a mental pause is a human superpower that is far too rare these days, especially given our constantly present sources of distraction begging for our attention. Imagine you're frustrated with achieving a goal you set out for yourself, and suddenly you hear a voice within yourself angrily saying something like, "You're so stupid," or "Why can't you do this?"
Recognizing this voice is the first step. Knowing that you are not your thoughts or your feelings is quite important. Thoughts and feelings arise from our life's history, our patterns and conditions. We are the thinker. We are not the thoughts. Noticing our mind's inner conversation and judgments is what people refer to as being mindful or practicing mindfulness.
In our experience, mindfulness is a tool or skill that can enable us to cultivate greater self-compassion and inner peace. These experiences and awarenesses are vitally important aspects of living a more successful life. This is because most human beings share two deeply held core values and needs. They are to be loved and to feel safe and secure.
That's right. Self-compassion researchers teach us that the hurt or angry voice we hear inside our mind, judging or shaming ourselves, is not actually us, but it's often an echo from our past that's not been healed and processed fully or at all. It is difficult to achieve one's goals in life if we live in fear of internal or external criticism and shame.
Let's talk about how people can go ahead and use this in their life when they're having a conversation with themselves or with other people.
Well, I think, as we were mentioning in the book, the first step is becoming aware. It's not getting lost in your own patterns and reactions when you see something online and you get angry, or you think somebody is being mean to you, and the first response we have is to react and feel hurt and take things personally. I know I do that more than I would like to. And so the skill to try to work on building and cultivating is to recognize, oh, wait a minute, I'm reacting to, I don't have all the information probably. I don't know what's going on with this person in their life, where they're coming from, their whole life experience, and I might be misinterpreting what they're saying.
And how would we determine whether we misinterpreted or even interpreting it correctly? How would we do that?
So, good question.
Okay, thank you. And here's one of the answers, because I know all the answers. A lot of them are even correct. And then you can chime in.
And you even know some of the questions.
Yeah, the questions are probably even more important. And that is that a lot of what people are doing or saying, especially if it's a negative or a reaction, has nothing to do with us. It's some word we said or some thought they thought triggered some childhood memory that they may not even be aware of. And if they're asking us a question, oftentimes we may be answering. You're not sure you're really answering what their question, unless you check out with them. Is this what you mean? Are you asking this or the other thing? It reminds me of the joke of the elementary school boy who comes home and asks his mom what sex is. And so she didn't think she was going to have this discussion at such an early age, and she's turning all kinds of embarrassing shades of pink as she's explaining to her little son the facts of life. And after she's done, the little boy looks up at his mom and says, "Wow, Mom, that's very interesting. But how do I put all that information in one of these little boxes here that says N or F?" That's all he was asking.
On the form for male or female sex, right?
She answered a different question.
So we want, very funny, so we want to ask questions. Asking questions is very empowering, whether we ask it of ourselves, like we said in the book, is this, before I say something, is it necessary? Is it kind? Is it helpful? Those are empowering questions that interrupt the patterns. And that's successful people will have the art of silence, of asking questions and of learning. You know, they say we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right?
Oh, what's that?
And that's so that we will listen more than we speak. And wise people are good listeners. You know what you call somebody who is a good listener?
Joe's brother.
A conversationalist.
Right. Yeah, that's
right. A good conversationalist.
That's a true story.
Yeah. So
people love to be listened to.
So if you hear something or you read something that is upsetting, then take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Stop. Pause.
To heal yourself from the trigger.
To heal yourself from the trigger and default to compassion. That's the healing, helpful thing to do. And
in what way, when you talk about default to compassion, here's one of the things is to keep in mind, just because you think something doesn't make it true. If all of a sudden some voice from your childhood comes up saying something negative, that doesn't mean it's true. And we may, as a child, have misunderstood what the person was saying or where they're coming from. They were just frustrated or whatever.
For example, you're a little boy or girl and you put your hand on the hot stove. Or you're about to put your hand on the hot stove. And your mom or your dad yells at you, "Hey, you're so stupid. What are you doing?" Okay, now they're not judging your actual intelligence over the course of your entire life or even in that moment. They're afraid. Oh my God, my little baby is about to get burned, right? But what we hear as a little boy or a little girl
and internalize,
and it gets stuck with us for a lifetime is, "I'm so stupid." And then when there's something scary or painful, what happens?
It gets triggered.
That's right, and we hear a voice in our own mind that says, "Oh, you're so stupid. Why did you?"
And so what is this way to go ahead and counter that?
Default to compassion.
What should you say to yourself?
I'm about to share that.
And I see I'm just going to practice being silent. Go ahead.
So what we could do is to treat ourselves the way we would treat a friend. If that friend were coming to us and saying, "I'm so upset, I'm going through X, Y, and Z, and I'm scared, and I'm angry, and I'm having this problem," right? We wouldn't say, "You're so stupid." No. We would say, "It's okay. It's okay. It's going to be all right. You're going to get through this." Right? Okay. You're stronger than you think.
Okay.
And we're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You've got this.
And maybe you didn't do anything wrong. It was a great question or whatever.
You validate our feelings like we would a friend's feelings. And we want to be a good friend to ourselves and others, right? And we want to be a good friend, a compassionate, caring friend to ourselves.
Or parent. You can re-parent yourself. When I have one of those negative thoughts, I will speak kindly and lovingly to myself, say, it's okay, I still love you, everything's going to work out, and I can be supportive in an internal dialogue.
So one of our core values, and we write about this in the book, and we know you're going to love it, is one of the core values that we all share is we all want to be loved. We all want to feel loved. We all want to feel safe. We all want to feel secure. So one of the things that we could do that's very powerful to live a successful, happy, healthy life is to tell ourselves, I love you. You got this. You're going to be okay. To comfort yourself, to be kind and loving and supportive and validate your feelings. You know, you're not alone. Joe, this is normal. Everybody goes through this, or whoever. Say to yourself, you know, and we're going to get through this, and I love you. It's okay I like to put my hands on my heart. It feels good. However it feels good to you, put your hand on your shoulder, your face, however you calm and soothe yourself, and say, I love you. You've got this. It's okay. And that's just very powerful. So pause, recognize that the thoughts going on, ask questions of other people and yourself, and then be kind to yourself and them. That's pretty much the formula there, right? Recognize, pause, ask questions, be kind.
And a way to learn to do that is, it may be hard for you to do that in the moment when you're feeling the most strife. So what you can do is, when you're thinking back on how you were triggered and you're now away from that environment and calm, you can reimagine yourself in that position and visualize how you would want to respond to yourself instead of it's like. And so you want to go ahead and practice while you're in a calm state. That's what the greatest Olympic athletes do, is they visualize themselves, or even in other sports, they visualize themselves doing their sport perfectly, doing the scenario perfectly over and over again. So when they're in the game of life, when life is happening, they can automatically do it as an automatic that makes their life better and other people's lives better, where you can be calmer and compassionate to yourself as well as to other people.
You know, that's so true, Leonard. Thank you for sharing that. I was just watching a video by the great Tony Robbins. You know Tony Robbins?
Sure, Mr. NLP.
He's a coach to some of the greatest stars, wealthy people.
He popularized a very powerful form of psychology called NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming.
He gets paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to speak to people and to coach people, and he's really a great teacher. So anyway, he shared this video, and the idea of the video about success was that one of the core elements of being successful, well, one of them is having the energy that you need in life to carry you forward and getting your energy up. But the main thing he was talking about is repetition. He gave an example about the great Michael Jordan, you know, perhaps the greatest basketball player of all time, arguably, from the Bulls, Chicago Bulls, is that he would practice twice a day, and in each practice he would shoot 5,000 baskets shot every day, 6 days a week.
For many years.
4 weeks a month, for years. So he shot thousands and thousands, millions.
I think he came out to around 1 million shots in his career.
Millions of shots of basketball. Practice shots. In order to make thousands during the game. And so that the point...
It was in his whole lifetime. In his whole lifetime, he practiced 1 million or more practice shots to go ahead what amounted to about tens of thousands of points that he made in his whole career to become acknowledged as one of the best.
To become a six-time champion, world champion, a basketball ring holder, and one of the greatest ever. And so the point is that you get where you're going by practicing. You get where you're going. And so we need to practice how we treat ourselves and others. We need to practice being kind to ourselves and kind to others. That's why we've created these cards that we share out in the world. We've created these cards that we share with people and says, thank you, you're awesome, a beautiful person, you're kind and thoughtful, and you make the world a better place. And we read it to people, and we share with them, we show them on the back, we say, hi, we're the Kindness Brothers, this is Leonard, and I'm Joseph, and we want to thank you for being such a good human being, and hope that you sign up to our newsletter where we share kindness and positivity every day at josephsiegel.com. And you know,
as a free email newsletter that
it's
you
a
can
free
sign up.
email newsletter, and people respond like we just gave them gold because we acknowledged them, we validated them, we thank them, and they're like, oh my God, I get to keep this. You're so awesome. Thank you. This is just what the world needs. And so what are we doing? We're practicing being kind to others, and it's kindness to ourselves too. We're practicing the kind of world and life we want to live, and a life that values kindness. And so that's what we want for all of you, and we want to leave you there with that. Thank you for coming back and subscribing, clicking the little button that says like, so that YouTube can share this with other people who want to learn about kindness and love and success.
Do you have any
And
questions for me?
do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. And what will be the advantage? How will they benefit by sharing this? How will it make their life better by sharing this podcast, these things that we're doing with other people?
When you help other people feel better about their life, then they will be nice and kind and good and fun people to have around you, and they will be good, kind, caring people to be around others, and we create positive ripples
throughout the world.
So here's the positive ripples of goodness and kindness throughout the world. Thank you so much. I'm Joe Siegel.
And I am Leonard Siegel, one of the two Kindness Brothers. And here's our book, The Success
Formula. Thank you so much. We love you all, and we'll see you next time.